Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to talk about my potential league starter for 317 Arch Nemesis League Siege of the Atlas expansion, and it's going to be accuracy stacking. Yes, accuracy stacking, something that I'm probably known for back in the days when it was actually a new thing back in Ritual League. Once we got the first time these new boots with the accuracy stacking, flat damage, the Storm Rider boots or Cloud Whisper boots or whatever they are, right? Um, and yeah, I had a lot of fun back in the days playing this build, and now with the changes to the on-hit bow stuff, and other things, especially this new jewel gives us like insane amounts of future potential to even make this build crazier overall, basically, right? So the accuracy stacker back in the days was my baby, more or less, right? I min-maxed this up to the toes. I think in the end version I spent like 8-9 mirrors on it or something, and I still wasn't done. I still didn't have the perfect gear that I was actually looking for. So sky's the limit. These are the builds that I personally like the most. Not something a build where you say like, okay, 10x budget or something, it's pretty much done. I like builds that have like almost unlimited scaling and a complete currency sync. So obviously that is not really the best thing to do on a league start, especially since I personally would probably never recommend of going any stat stacking build on a league starter, because what you need for your build to work out is stats. Like your stat stacker, right? Doesn't matter if it's in stacking, if it's strength stacking, accuracy stacking, whatever stacking you do, you need stats. And if you don't have those, your build will suck, you will have no damage, you will have nothing, right? And it's probably going to be hard early on in the league to get a certain amount of stats that you're actually able to do certain content. But for me personally, I'm not a racer. I don't really care about league start speed, more or less, right? There is no like, sometimes it takes me up to like 15 hours until I even reach mapping, just because I have a fun with the league mechanics, and I'm doing the league mechanic in like every single zone while mapping, or at least like while in the campaign, basically, right? I try out new things. Like, it's very often that GGG releases new skills, new support gems, and I'm also probably known for trying out those skills firsthand, even if my league start fails. But for me, PoE is a marathon and not a race, basically, or a sprint, right? So I don't need to be the first guy killing Saurus, or the first guy killing Maven, or any of the other new bosses. I'm just going to try to have fun in the league, and I think the accuracy stacker is a good build for me to start it all off. I'm going to talk a little bit about the first investments and stuff like that in a bit. So the other two contenders for my league start was basically either Frenzy Bow Slayer, or a Wave of Conviction Ignite Elementalist. Pretty much the same build that I played in the Delph event, in the solo self-on Delph event. I had a lot of fun with it. It is very, very strong, and back in the days I said, I don't care what they're going to bring in 317, I'm pretty sure going to start the Wave of Conviction character, because you can get this built into endgame for like, I don't know, 5 exalts, and you're pretty much set to do all content with it, right? And for the Frenzy Bow Slayer, there is something, I don't know why, but sometimes I just think about a certain skill and I'm like, yo, I'm in love with that skill, you know? And Frenzy is basically one of those skills. And Frenzy is not really known for being like super meta or something, right? It has insane damage potential, especially once you start stacking up the Frenzy charges, right? And I think one of the best characters to use that is not a Raider, but a Slayer, basically, right? With the Maven belt, with the brutal charges, you get ridiculous amounts of damage with that. But the problem is, in order to make that work in a good way, you kind of need the replica Pharaoh's 4, and that's a chest that goes for like, I don't know, 15x, 20x in the start of the league or something. So that's like a big pile of currency to basically enable your character. I'm not saying that accuracy stacker is going to be any kind of a cheap build, right? But at least it doesn't rely on any super expensive unique items. In fact, the core of your leveling experience early on in mapping are actually pretty cheap item. It can get insanely expensive once you start going for endgame for kind of like mirror tier items and stuff like that. This character is an absolute currency sink, similar to an aura stacker, basically, right? And the big problem with, or the big joy and the problem with accuracy stacker is it has like 100 different parts. Like, this build lives and falls with like the amount of jewels and gear and accuracy that you have, right? And I'm always comparing it to an aura stacker. because an aura stacker does also have like ridiculous amounts of item pieces with like jewels, cluster jewels, you know, large, medium, whatever, and it's just like a product of like 50 items combined to have a very good result. And it's pretty similar on the accuracy stacker, but there is not like really super expensive items where you say like, okay, I need this item 100x, this item 100x, this item 100x. No, it's basically the overall package, and this is like a very nice journey to go. So basically, one thing that I want to mention here before I want to talk about the League Starter items or itemization is precise shit. What was the name of this new keystone that gives you 40% more attack damage but never deal critical strikes? If your accuracy is higher than your maximum life. And I had already a bunch of people messaging me, yo, this is gonna be insane for accuracy stacker and whatnot. And personally, no, it's not. Like, I would say if you play accuracy stacking the way that I do it, basically with really stacking accuracy, right? You want to stay away from this jewel as best as you can, because what it does is you never deal critical strikes. And with the Oscarm gloves, which is basically a core piece of the build, once you reach certain levels of accuracy, I don't know, like 60, 70,000 or something, you're gonna get 100% critical strike chance, right? And this will give you a tremendous amount of damage, so you never miss because you have like accuracy stacking, right? So 100% hit chance, 100% crit chance. Why would you consider removing that, right? There is other builds that would definitely have a good use out of this new keystone. What would I think? First off, maybe Hollow Palm would be something where you could consider taking that, because you're gonna have a certain amount of accuracy as long as it's higher than your life. So basically 7,000-8,000 accuracy, and you should be good to go. But hey, there might be other builds where this is like an insane buff, an insane opportunity for a build to make it like really good. But accuracy stacking on its own, I don't think so. Like, I personally would stay away from it. Good, let's talk about the League Start investment. I did start this build once, basically. I'm not even sure why I actually stopped it back then. It was like 314. Was this like, God, I forgot the league names. Doesn't matter. So, what do we see here? This is basically your early investment kind of thing. If you're able to get a Tabula, that would be nice. I mean, that's probably on League Start. Maybe I'm lucky this time and get a tabby out of the league mechanic, because everybody and their parents get tabulas early on. I think I never had a league start yet where I got a tabula early on. But in the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's an affordable item. It's just like maybe an hour of like grinding or something, and you're gonna have your like 20 chaos to actually buy one. It's going to be nice. Then for the helmet, we have the Obscurantis, right? Super cheap item. It's like 1-2 chaos, you know, it's in the core drop pool now, as far as I know, because it used to be a guardian drop, so that should be easy accessible. The Hinekora amulet is also very, very strong, and you really need a very good rare amulet to top this one. Very cheap item. I mean, it's probably not, I wouldn't categorize it in the cheap item section, because on League Start, these items could go for like 20, 30, 40 chaos, and the 40 chaos is very expensive on League Start as well, right? I don't control the market. I have no idea how it's going to look like next league, but this is one of the items that could easily cost you like 10, 15 chaos before, you know, once the league starts to develop, and in like day 5, day 6, nobody uses these items. They're going to go down at some point. You're going to get those items for 1 chaos, but realistically on day 2, day 3 of the league, this could be, I don't know, somewhere 10, 20, 30 chaos. I have no idea, but this is a very strong, gives you up to like 1000 accuracy. It's going to be insane, basically. Then the Oscarm gloves, usually around 1 chaos. This is the one that enables your crit strike chance now as well with the Assassin's Mark on hit or something. That should still be in the game, because they removed Assassin's Mark on hit on the rings and stuff like that, but this item should still have it, and this will be our source of critical strike chance. Then for the bow, you either go with the Tempest bow, which is the faded version. I'm not sure. Wait a second. They removed Prophecy League, so I actually need to check. I mean, this bow will still be in. I'm 100% sure, right? I just don't know if they gonna remove the first version and just let the Tempest drop, or if they gonna combine this to make like a stronger version out of both worlds or something like that. But this bow is actually super strong early on. It drops very often. It's like a very common unique, so it shouldn't be any hard to get one of these items. The big question mark is the boots. So the boots have like 3 tiers based on its item level, or the item level, the level usage, basically, right? And the earliest version, as far as I know, are the Cloud Whisper boots. They are equipable at level 20. So will you have access to these boots at level 20? Probably not, because somebody has to find them, so that's a ritual encounter and stuff like that, right? But I think I'm just gonna have them on auto search and just pick up the cheapest pair, but I don't see myself getting a pair early on. I don't know. I'm not controlling the market, as I say again. I can just keep them on live search and try to get a pair, right? Because in the start of the league, you have to think about, yes, these boots will give you a tremendous amount of damage once your accuracy rating is high, but we are not talking about like 10,000 accuracy in like level 50 or something. That's not going to happen. So you're going to probably have like a maybe 2,000, 3,000 accuracy. So these boots are not going to give you like insane amounts of damage. So it's not like either you have this unique or your character is not playable. This counts for the end game version, right? When your accuracy is stacking, because this is the source of your flat damage. But for leveling, I think you should be fine without those boots for the most part until you basically can pick it up, right? Good. When it comes to the skill usage, so this is something I really, really like when it comes to accuracy stacking. This is like a template character, right? So I personally think I like the Frenzy version and the Tornado Shot version the most, but obviously Tornado Shot is probably the last thing I will consider early on, just because it needs a tremendous amount of investment to make it halfway decent, right? So maybe I'm going to stick with the plan that I had back in the days to just go for Ballista totems like Siege Ballista. And because this is like very strong for single target, and it is still very good for the clearing skill. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of totem playstyle, but if it's just like as a part to achieve something better and greater later on, then I'm totally fine with it. You can also play all kinds of like melee stuff, you know, you can go lightning strike, you can go with like wild strike or any other melee attack, because you're gonna have the ridiculous amounts of attack speed and crit strike chance and the flat damage and the all these kind of things, right? So anything that has like a projectile should be fine to use. I'm probably gonna go with the Ballista still, and then maybe at some point gonna swap to Tornado Shot or Frenzy or anything that I maybe come up to, or I'm even going to consider going with Lightning Strike, because Lightning Strike is a well-known, very strong skill. By Kobe Black Mamba, for example, he made this like Lightning Strike Berserk, right? And it's like an insane build. A friend of mine played this build last league for the entire league, and it's actually ridiculous. Once they crafted the 12 link sword with the Squire Shield and stuff, he had like 400 mil DPS or something. So I personally never touched Lightning Strike, but maybe now it's the time to actually try it out as well until we get to a certain point. Good. That's basically what I have for you today. I still have to work on certain POBs just about the overall gem setup that I want to pick, because back when I played it, as you see on the passive skill tree here, there has been a lot of changes, right? With all the rework of the Atlas, like the passive skills, the masteries and stuff like that. And this is also something I want to mention. Remember the new mastery that they added, where you get like 100 flat accuracy or something per green socket on your bow? I don't think this is going to be insane, because in the best case scenario, you want to have like 6 green sockets on your bow. But in the perfect world, you want to have a replica Shroud of the Lightless, right? To stack your Abyss sockets for all these like accuracy, multiplier, life, whatever you can get, right? So your 6-link is going to be in the bow, and usually you're going to have things like elemental damage with attacks or LE focus or other things, you know, that are not green sockets. And I don't think if you have like 3 green sockets, if it's worth picking that node up. It depends on the other mastery points, if we can just get it in, or if it's just not worth the investment and there is other things. But we're going to see that in the later stages. Good. I'm going to work now on some POBs. I'm pretty sure I'm going to give you guys an update on the last part on Friday before the league start, when I'm going to start this entire league starter series, the diary for me as well. And I personally, I know there's like everybody and their parents looking for the right league starter, and there is like all content creators trying to push out as many league starters as possible. I always like say, guys, it's a game, right? And just try to have fun, right? It's not always the best to go with the meta, because think about it. There is like builds that are getting very, very popular for league start, right? And now everybody plays it. and everybody needs the same items, that means that your build, it's always about investment and what you get out of it. Let's say for 100 chaos, I could do Cyrus 8 on this build. It's an insane league star. It doesn't need anything, you know, like 1 or 2 core unique items that are cheap. But once like 50,000 people are playing the same build, you're gonna not even get close to anywhere on that budget level. So in order to then kill Cyrus and Awakener 8, you're not gonna invest 100 chaos, you're gonna invest 10 exalts to reach a similar kind of strength. And for 10 exalts, it might be actually a bad build, but for 100 chaos, it was insane, right? So I personally always recommend pick something that you enjoy, that you have fun playing, because as I say again, PoE is a marathon and not a sprint, and you're gonna have a much more fun time in the league start if you're not having this mindset of like, oh my god, in 10 hours I'm not even killed Guardians yet, oh my god, I'm so bad. No, absolutely not. Just take your time, chill, relax, currency will come anyways, and then you can just build whatever you enjoy the most. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.